Today I'm with Darren, the owner of Shorewave Solar. Darren will take us behind the scenes of a few of his installations, showcasing the craftsmanship and details of professionally designed solar systems. We will explore the internal wiring of Enphase and SolarEdge slash string inverter systems. We'll look at the major components of a solar installation other than the solar panels and inverters. Check out connections, wiring, trunk cabling, whatever brings electricity down from the roof of our homes to inside the home. We look at how the solar system is tied to our main panels and hence tied to the grid. We'll even take a brief peek at a string inverter and a Tesla battery install. Let me give it over to Darren.
Got into the industry 15 years ago, and as I'll show you the differences between the technology that was in place then and the technologies that we use today, I approach my customers. I'm selling them technology that's tried, true, cutting edge, but not to the point where it's first generation and hasn't been tried. We're here in Manahawkin, New Jersey, right on the beautiful coastal. In this particular system, we are south facing, so we are maximizing the production for the panels. The panels as well have a 25-year warranty, in addition to the 25-year warranty for the microinverters, so your investment is very safe. Our installation was aesthetically pleasing. Right. We have to make sure that we abide by codes. And if you look, there's a little pathway here on the right. So when we do the design for the installation, we have to make sure that we have adequate space for the firefighters to crawl up on the roof in the event that they need to get up anywhere on the roof. There's actually an inverter on every single one of those panels underneath the panel. It converts the electric from a DC that's generated by those panels into an AC. So this is a microinverter. This is what we call a microinverter, and this is where all the magic happens. So we have our panel, solar panel, and we take the leads from the solar panel and we plug them into here. Again, the panel energy is a DC source, which can't be used in a home because we use AC. And this device, the microinverter, converts it from DC to AC. So that's simply done by plugging this device into here. And then we plug, there's two leads to a panel that look identical to here, a male and a female, MC4. So they come out of the panel and they plug into here. Then what we do is we have what we call a trunk line. These are connected kind of like a Christmas tree light. We run the wires underneath the panels. As we pass the microinverter, we simply take it and we plug it into our trunk cable. So we would take this wire and we would bring it into the solar deck. We would bring that Romex into the solar deck from the house, and we simply make the connection. And then we simply take all those panels and we combine the energy, and we take a wire and we run it. And in every case that we can, and 99% of the time we're successful, is you will never see a piece of wire or conduit on top of the roof. Because what we do is, underneath those panels, we have access to what we call a solar deck, which is that piece of equipment that's under these panels that waterproofs a way for us to get in the wire into the attic. And we would install a solar deck on the roof, which is waterproof. Yeah. And we would put this Romex into the solar deck. We would take the wire and run it anywhere in the house that we need to in order to bring it to a point where we would integrate it with the main surface panel in the home. And then we simply take the Romex to a point where we could convert it over to a wiring that's suitable to be put into the conduit, because by code we cannot put this in the conduit. So we bring it into this box here, and then we install what we call our THHN wire, and we make the connections in there and we bring it down. And as you saw, that comes out right above our combiner box outside. So very clean, very short, non-invasive, doesn't really do anything. And then we bring it outside And we have to convert that wiring because we can't take Romex and put it in this piece of cable here. We have to convert it to what they call THH, and that's suitable to go inside that conduit. This is, just a regular outdoor rated PVC. So again, we've taken all of our wires from the panels. We brought it through the attic. We've converted it from Romex to THHN. We brought it into the combiner box here, and we have these circuits. This particular device here is where we aggregate the wire and monitor it. We call it a combiner box. We can monitor activity and everything from our phone right here. So this has its own IP address, and it's powered from this breaker here.
So that's the monitoring device. It tells you how much the solar system is producing, the communication with the internet, all happens within this box, and it's powered through here.
Yes.
And the other breaker.
So we have the capacity for 4 circuits here. Generally, depending upon the microinverter, you're anywhere from 10 to 12 microinverters / panels per circuit. And then from there, what we do is we take these combined electrical sources and we bring it into a main disconnect here. In a microinverter environment, if one fails, which doesn't happen frequently, and they are warranted for 25 years, then you just have one device that's down. And because you have an IP address for each one of those, you set up an alert. When it fails, it tells you it failed. So in this instance, we have 20. If one happened to fail, we still have 19 producing till we could go back and address that one that failed. In a string inverter, where everything comes down to a centralized inverter, when one fails, they all fail. And again, this is a line side tap. So when we looked at the wire inside, it comes directly from this device here.
Gotcha.
Okay. And this is generally just in this instance, it's a 60 amp breakers are wiring inside. So we have, again, the 2 main circuits coming from the combiner box to here, and then from here through the 60 amp breaker comes into the main panel. This is the main panel in this particular home. Happens to be in the bedroom. Could be in a basement, could be in a garage. When we look here, this is where the magic happened. So normally you have your 2 wires that come in to your panel here, 120 on each leg for a 220 service in a residential home. We have a neutral and a ground bar here. If we didn't have solar, we would have those 2 wires that came here, goes to your meter, goes to the street, goes to your bill. This is what we call a line tap. What we do here is we tap into that line before it hits the house.
Right.
And this way, the house will look to utilize this solar energy before it goes back out to the street.
This is what you call the line side tap, and this is, I guess, in Jersey, this is what most folks do. In some of the other states that people work in solar, they also put in solar through a breaker in the panel itself.
And the way that's done is we look at the rating of a panel, and we're able to put a breaker in that is 20% of that panel rating. So as an example, if we have a 200 amp service, we could put a 40 amp breaker in there. And then instead of making this connection here, what we do is what's called a back feed. And by code, we need to put that breaker all the way at the bottom of this bus bar. And then the energy comes up and it feeds up here. And the same thing, it looks to this voltage before it looks to that voltage. So if you look at these right here, these are called CTs to measure the house's overall consumption. We could pick up that information on our phone. We could look instantaneously. What is the house drawing? What's the kilowatt hour usage rating at that moment, during the day, for a month, a week? We could run all kinds of reports. But it's a good way of looking to see instantaneously, am I generating enough electric to cover my current consumption? John, this particular customer of mine contacted me 10 years ago, and microinverters really weren't the standard in the industry at the time. What we installed here was kind of state-of-the-art at that moment, and it's the centralized inverter, which runs on DC. The centralized inverter converts the electric from the DC to the AC at that one point. We string the panels together like Christmas tree lights. We bring the circuits down into the centralized inverter, and from there, it converts it from DC to AC, unlike the microinverter, which does it in the little pancake box on the. We still put all of our piping inside so that you can't see it. But because it's DC, it needs to be in pipe, not like the Romex where we can simply take the wire and anywhere in the house and then convert it before we bring it outside.
So what kind of wiring do you use when you do these?
We use metal conduit, and we use a THHM wiring, which is suitable for outdoors. So ultimately, we're going to bring it outside. So for continuity, we bring it from the solar deck into the pipe throughout the attic, and then we bring it outside. We used what was the state-of-the-art technology at the time, and that at that period of time was a centralized inverter system. And we make reference to that in terms of DC versus an AC. You know, microinverters, the inverter being on the roof, and the centralized inverters being elsewhere on the property, close to our disconnect, just as our combiner box is for a microinverter system. So this particular house, we have 42 panels, so we needed 2 inverters.
Okay.
We have several strings coming into each one. Our wiring methodology is a little different. So everything needs to be piped inside. The wires need to be concealed in piping.
It will be in the attic, and this is different from the Enphase installations because we're talking about running DC now from the roof down to the inverter at the side of the home. So
Correct.
This is what's happening inside the attic.
Right.
Tell us what's going on, Darren.
So, unfortunately, this piping that you see most of the time is on the outside of a roof, and it's very unsightly, and that's not the way we do our work. So what we do is the same thing as with the microinverters. We come out of the solar deck, which is behind that pipe right there. We bring it into the box. We make our connections. And because this is DC wiring coming through the home, it needs to be protected. And we use the metal protection inside. So we come down along here, and we run it throughout the attic. There's another solar deck for another set of panels right here. You can see we have to mark everything by code, voltage, so on. And then we bring that up to in this instance, a main trunk, if you will.
So this is basically, you've got a lot of panels, 42 panels up there. So you got 3 or 4 strings, and you got to get all of them down into a single wire that you'll bring down to the SMA.
So as you can see, there's a lot of work involved. There's bending pipe and making the connections and making sure it's grounded. And so with the Romex, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
So it's really the difference in the system. And because it's so difficult to do this type of work in here, that's why you see what I call the lazy man approach when you see these pipes on a roof, which just should not happen. This is our main pipe, if you will, and this is eventually going to make its way down to the edge of our attic space here, and we take it outdoors, and then we convert that over to PVC. We make the same exit, and we bring that wiring down into a box, and in this instance we split it. We come down, one set of wires goes to this inverter, and the other one goes to this inverter.
And now we've added battery backup poster install.
Yes, this happens to be a Tesla Powerwall, which has been integrated into the solar array because when this installation was originally done, this technology didn't really exist. Now, since the installation, as I say, a little over 10 years ago, the industry evolves, and they've come up with what they call for a DC system, a optimizer. And the optimizer is kind of a dummied down microinverter in that it too has its own IP address, so you could track the production for that panel. you can isolate the electric on the rooftop. In other words, in this system, the DC is constantly coming down from the rooftop. Today's technology, we have the optimizers and what we call a disconnect, a rapid disconnect, where the fire personnel, first responders can come up and slap that, and it isolates that DC energy just to the panel, to where that panel makes connection with the optimizer underneath the panel.
Gotcha.
So if they're cutting through wires in the house trying to put a fire out, they don't have to worry about cutting through an active DC circuit.
And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe. If you're looking for solar, please reach out to me at solar@mysolarhome.us or visit my website, mysolarhome.us. Before you go, you might like this news video on choosing the right solar inverter. Till the next time, see you around.